Ladies and gentlemen, the ringing of that phone bell brings you mystery, adventure.
ML Elric.
Office. Yes, who's calling? Mr.
Sean Windsor?
Well, is this a matter of business? That's fine. I'll just call him.
Mark?
I'm not here. Tell him I'm up in the plant room with the orchids.
I was going to call him to the phone, but he's up in the plant room with his orchids. What sort of a case is this, sir? Really? Really, is that so?
Is it a man or a woman?
Oh, I understand perfectly. It's a man.
Well, at least that's something different.
Yes, sir, very urgent, I understand. And I assure you, Mr.
Elric
will be here waiting for you. The fee? Shall we say about, $1,000?
I will not see any client until after dinner.
Come at once. What were you saying, boss?
Nothing but business. All the time. What's the problem?
I don't know. And at $1,000, considering our bank balance, I'll help him poison his great-grandmother.
You asked interrogator, try to bring around my face. It's gone.
What are you doing?
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now, Al?
Hey kids, it's your old pal ML Elric, and as you can tell, we are hard up for cash if we would poison somebody's grandparent for $1,000. Just so we're clear, that wasn't really me. That was Mark suggesting that.
You never know. Close to death, anyway.
I guess if they had a very dire prognosis.
A weird place to start.
I don't know. I was thinking about our finances, and one reason why we are able to come to you week after week is because of our generous sponsors, and no sponsor is more generous to us than Roy O'Brien Ford. So if you're looking for a new ride, service, repairs, or even just a top-notch oil change, Roy O'Brien Ford is the place to go. This is where my mom got her fire engine red Ford Focus wagon, which we still borrow on a regular basis, and it is performing brilliantly on the streets. Roy O'Brien has been at the corner of 9 Mile and Mac for 75 years, but you can also do business with them online at royobrien.com. That's ROYOBRIEN.com. You can check out Fast Track. Look at these great deals. 2021 Ford Escape, lease for only $196 a month.
It's part of their Labor Day savings.
Wow, that's pretty good.
It goes on all month.
And this is, if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can see some of the fine products they have on offer there. Or you just go online, go to royobrien.com. When you check out Fast Track, you can pick out your vehicle and your options. You can pick your deal. Do you want to lease it? Do you want to finance it? Or do you want to be a high roller and pay cash? You can also find out about your trade-in. Trade-ins are going for exorbitant sums because there's a shortage of vehicles. So if you have a used ride, this is the time to get your best offer and to get into a sweet new ride or even just a slightly better used ride. So check it out, royobrien.com, or call 888-566-5851. And be sure to tell them that ML's mother's son sent you to Roy O'Brien, which is also found at royobrien.com.
All right.
888-566-5851. So thank you very much to Roy O'Brien. They also help sponsor, indirectly, our NIL athlete, Kalina Nice, who cannot join, or Kalina Nice, I keep messing that up. She cannot join us because she's in class, but we are looking forward to an exclusive preview on the MSU women's rowing team season. I know a lot of people are only listening to the show to try and find out how the women crew are going to do. And that's one of the reasons why we have a very, selective audience.
Can I ask you your opinion on the Matt Ishbia sponsoring all the football and basketball players?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Fantastic. And I'll tell you this. That's exactly the kind of way people should be compensated with an amount that can help provide for living expenses, but should not have them chasing a dollar at the expense of their college
Sean?
Experience and their athletic ability. And you know what? The first time I actually felt really good about NIL.
Who are you? This is a very different take than you usually provide.
No. It's $500 a month.
Yeah.
And it's guaranteed, so they don't have to go out there and cut a ribbon at a car lot. They don't have to get on.
Well, what do they have to do? That doesn't seem right. That
they just have to make the team and stay in school.
Well, why does that seem right for name, image, and likeness?
Those are the two most important things when you're a student athlete. making the team and staying in school. And that's why I love what Brigham Young did, which is provide all of the non-scholarship athletes tuition. They used NIL to pay the tuition for kids who are working just as hard as anybody else, maybe not as talented as everybody else, maybe not as highly recruited when they were in high school as everybody else, but they found a way to use NIL to support student athletes, all of them.
Now, you know there's 2 lawmakers in this state that are not happy with it at all.
Who's that?
I don't know who the 2 lawmakers are. They're both Democratic reps, one from Birmingham, one from Livonia, I believe. But they're not happy because he's not giving any money to the female athletes with the NIL.
Well, we got that covered. We don't need Ishbia. What's he, a billionaire? We got, what, a couple $100 between us? We got that covered. Sean, you just bought lunch, so you may be tapped out. But
I just think Ishbia is trying to do a nice thing, obviously because he loves the university and loves the basketball team because he walked on, loves the football team. He has the money to do this, and 2 people are not happy with it because he's not doing it for female athletes. I mean, it's his money. It's not the university's money to decide.
Well, I think we all agree that the female athletes work just as hard as the male athletes,
Sure.
maybe even harder, because they have
not what it's about.
They have less of the adulation of fans and less of the attention of people who follow sports feverishly. So rather than criticize Ishbia, what I would like to think is that this is going to inspire other people to say, well, Matt put a lot of money on the table. I can put up enough money for the women's diving team or for the equestrian team. I once dated a woman on the equestrian team, and I don't think they got any kind of support. But I'm glad Matt is following our example.
Did the horse go on your date?
No, in fact, our relationship was seriously impeded because she always had to get up early on Saturdays to go to some sort of riding event.
Why didn't you go to support her?
Yeah, exactly. Come on, man.
Early in the morning on a Saturday? You think I was available?
Yeah.
I couldn't support myself, and if I did support myself early on a Saturday, it was probably on my elbows as I was recovering from whatever happened on a Friday night. You know, I went to Michigan State.
Probably why it didn't last. Very unsupportive.
By the way, Mark, were you
got
doing the
dark.
motion to hurry things up?
Maybe a little bit.
Like 30 seconds into
Yeah.
the show
Yeah,
that Mike couldn't
sorry.
see?
I didn't know you would call me out on it, though. I was doing it for my own
So,
self.
what do you think about Ishbia, Mr. Windsor, of the Carlos and Sean podcast?
Oh, I think that...
Brought to you by Freep.com and Sominex.
No, it's fine. I'm your Ishbia, right? I brought over some smoked turkey Reubens from Angelo's, which is an institution. Not that we want to plug them necessarily.
You didn't
Why
bring
not?
any-
I've known the family for 30 years.
Why didn't you bring any for the females on the street?
I should have.
Well, I think Lila had
And my
a little
son
bit of
packed them
turkey.
up.
Yeah.
Said to say hi. I was originally thinking about burritos with green chilies because I felt like this show could use a little spice.
I don't eat eggs.
You know what I mean? You don't eat eggs?
What? Why?
Oh, that's good to know, but why?
I just don't care for eggs.
In
What?
any form.
In cake.
They're so versatile.
Yeah, so you eat eggs all the time, you just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but not eggs in and of themselves.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat it.
You're like Guy Fieri. He won't eat an egg.
Yeah, we got a lot in
Of
common.
diners, drive-ins, and drive.
Yeah, you do have a lot of
Yeah,
content.
people often mistake us for each other.
Well, it's the goatee, right? That's not really real.
Thought it was the spiky gray hair and the chef's jacket.
And the loud clothing.
Yes, that too.
And the flip-flops.
I don't do the flip flops.
No. Okay.
But
No eggs, no flip-flops.
okay.
Okay, yeah,
So,
check. I
so
gotta-
what about Ishbia? So you think Ishbia is a good thing, bad thing? Is
No,
he?
I think it's fine. It's
did
all
he
part
not
of-
go far enough. Is
Well,
he
no,
being
you'd like to see
unfairly
him. If he's going to offer it to everybody, he should offer it to everybody. So
He did, but what I said he should have said is, hey, women are more than welcome to try out for the football team.
Oh, okay.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, he's giving money to the football players in the men's basketball team, and it's his money.
Well, there is something to be said
So in the
for
Drew and-
a donor doing what he feels like he wants to do with his money, but it would be nice if someone else would step up. That opportunity still exists.
So in the Drew and Mike show, you're
Sure.
the lefty.
No, I'm
But
just
on
on
this
me. It's the
show,
same-
you're the I hate, women
No.
don't deserve to get any money.
It's the same opinion I had on both shows. I think it's a little ridiculous for 2 lawmakers to kind of crap all over this when he's trying to do something nice. That the university isn't the one who doles out the money.
That's true.
It's his money.
No, you're right. You're right.
And I just, for 2 lawmakers to kind of, for lack of a better word, whine about where he's spending his money, I don't like that. When it's a good thing overall to give these kids money.
It's a good thing to give them enough money to get by and to save some of these kids the trouble of chasing a dollar when they should be chasing a tutor or chasing a errant pass or chasing a quarterback or...
But he can give his money to...
That's probably good.
However,
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Thanks, Matt. By the way, Matt, I know you've been very generous with athletes, but if you're
going to tell him how to spend his money?
It's ML4Detroit.com. There's a donate button right there on ML4Detroit.com. In fact, ML4Detroit.com is also a sponsor of this podcast, and we just this week released an amazing new video that if you haven't seen it yet, please go to our website, go to Facebook or Twitter, check out ML4Detroit.com because you are going to meet the most amazing woman ever, and her name is Mrs. Taylor. I'm ML Elric coming to you from East Lawn. Back in May, I met Ms. Taylor, who lives in this beautifully kept house, and asked what we could do to help.
Just showing up and taking the time to talk to me made me feel better because I have been calling for years about this house.
One of her biggest concerns was the blighted house next door. For years it sat and rotted.
How long has this house been like this? Off and on about 10 years between the squatters and all the people that's been in and out of it.
I told her I'd look into it, and I know who to call. I'm going to get right through. I won't be put on hold for this one. Well, today the city is taking down that house. We got results.
I've never had anybody to come out and do this, I'll be honest with you. I've had them come to the door and knock and talk. But this, I have never had.
This is what all of us deserve. Okay.
Hopefully when you see me again, it's gone.
Yeah, that's good. Then we'll cut the vacant lot.
Yeah.
A council member who makes a difference. And how do you feel seeing it come down today?
Oh! The whole neighborhood's happy.
My neighbor felt the same way. When she came home from work that afternoon, she said, Miss Taylor, that house is gone.
It feels like people are given so many reasons to leave the city, and we want to make sure that we're giving people a good reason to stay, even if it's just an expectation that somebody's working for them, and that if there is a problem, that there is help coming.
Yeah, that's why what I have been telling other folks, that he's a good guy. I said one thing about him, if he can help you, he will. Because he's done a lot for me.
Tell me how you're feeling today.
Happy, very happy.
Together, we can make Detroit better.
oh, that's great, man.
So, people may be asking themselves, why am I showing that? Is it because I'm a scroungy politician? Is it because I'm a shameless self-promoter? Is it because I like the sound of my own voice? Is it because I wasn't worried that was not a particularly good hair day? I'm just going to pass by all those questions and tie it back to the show because I was leaving the show and I was doing spot checks on this block on East Lawn to see if the city really was going to demolish this house after putting a demo sign up, and I almost drove into a tree when I saw that big 18-wheeler and that big backhoe busting this house right into the ground. I mean, it was amazing. And of course, I think when I watch that video, my favorite part on the fact that the house is gone is the guy in the red shirt, Michael Stick. He's a show stealer, man. That dude's hilarious. But I see him there every time we go back to East Lawn.
What a relief for her, though, man. That's great. I love it. I love that you did that.
Yeah, for 10 years she stared at that broke-ass house. And when I met her, I knocked on her door, and she said, "Where do you stay?" And I said, "East English Village." She said, "All the city council candidates live in East English Village." And I said, "Okay, fair enough." And we had been talking about what her concerns were, and she said the house. And I said, "Well, I'm the first candidate that's going to mow the backyard on that house." So we came back with a team on Motor City Makeover, and we cleaned out that backyard. And, in the meantime, I had contacted the city to say, "What's the status of this house? Are you going to tear it down?" And they said, no, it's in pretty good shape. And as you could see in the video, the back, all the boards had been pulled off the windows and what have you, but the roof was wide open. Somebody had tarped it, and the tarp had shredded, as often happens. And so it was not salvageable. So when we made the city aware of what its condition was in, they knocked it down. So sometimes it's just a matter, It's not so much that the city's not doing its job or the city is failing somehow. It's that they're just not always up to speed on current events. So we just let folks know. They came, they got rid of the house, and now Ms. Taylor has a nice level field next to her. And when that land reverts to the land bank, which it should do sometime over the next 6 months to a year, she can buy it for $100. And instead of having this eyesore that was a danger to her grandkids when they came to visit, she's going to have a nice grassy field where they can go and play and basically feel good that grandma didn't give up and move because she got sick of keeping a beautiful house and having a toxic house next to it. So
That's awesome.
so yeah, so a little shameless self-promotion, but also
I think it's worth it.
also a little information to keep people inspired about things in the city of Detroit, because we heard from a listener who just dropped in this morning, Alex, who says, can you talk about this on today's podcast? The infrastructure in this city is such a tragic joke. It never seems to end. And then showed a video of Charlie Langton at the Stash Provisioning Center.
What is going on with that
4th
place?
Street, and it looks like the building is about to fold over like a house of cards.
But why don't they have an explanation as to why that road or whatever underground blew up?
So is that what it was?
Yeah, but nobody knows or doesn't seem to know what it was that blew it up.
Oh, I don't know either.
Yeah, there was an explosion on Saturday night. It lifted up the street. It totally shifted that building off of its foundation. And apparently, people in the neighborhood said it stunk and it smelled really bad, and nobody knew what the odor was from. And here we are on Tuesday, this morning, the last thing I had read, that they still don't know what it was that caused it, which, I mean, I don't know, but why wouldn't somebody isn't it their job to know that kind of stuff?
Did it
Some
smell
kind of
like-
civil engineer?
Did it smell like skunk?
That's funny you said that. Was kind of my first thought was I don't know how they extrapolate THC and do all that.
I think
but-
grow houses are a little bit like breweries.
But you
where
can't
they
grow
have
at a
funky
provisional.
smell.
You can't grow at a provisional, right? At a dispensary.
I don't know. I got to tell you, I'm not a frequenter of such establishments.
But to Alex's point, it's like, well, there's more crappy infrastructure, and now we still don't even know the reason behind it either.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they'll find out, and it may not be the city's fault either.
Might not be.
It could be a gas line going under there. It could be a water line. It could also be, if you think about that side of town, Southwest Detroit, Fort Street, those are very, very old streets, and so you wonder what the condition of all that underground stuff is. When a friend of mine was working on the Q line, he was sort of an inspector of the work, and he said, and I know people were really hard on the Q line, how long it took to get it going, how much it cost, and he said when they opened up the ground, they found so much nasty old stuff they didn't expect.
Like what, you know?
Like old streetcar rails,
Oh.
and water lines and gas lines and things like that were, just kind of patched up, but you couldn't, where when you opened up the asphalt to lay rail and you thought, okay, we'll open it up, we'll put some rail, we'll patch it up, and away we go. What they found underneath there was just a mess. And he was the guy who would say, okay, well, we got to fix it. And other people were saying, just put the rail, patch it up, and just get the train going. He's like, no. We have found a problem. We need to address this. And it slowed everything up, and it made things more expensive, but it actually fixed the problem. You wonder, in some of the older parts of town, whether there is something that's been lurking there for a long time, just kind of bubbling and waiting to erupt. But, there's still rumors that there are water lines in Detroit that are wooden. And I don't know if you've ever seen these old water lines from like the 1800s. They would just take a log, they would drill a hole in the middle of it, and they'd run water through it.
Gross.
Yeah, and if you go to, it's been a while since I've been there, but if you go to the basement of the Harper Woods City Hall, down by the clerk's office, the court clerk's office, they have examples of these.
What are you doing in the
I was
basement of
was just wondering.
Harperwood City Hall? What the fuck?
I was pulling records on a former state representative named
so
Brian Banks. He had quite a few cases.
So you weren't lurking?
No. I was investigating.
So it wasn't
doing
recent.
research.
Okay.
I was a little while.
You weren't hiding things.
No, not at all. Not at all. I was just doing my due diligence.
You weren't there for a tour of the log water lines either way.
By the way, the video that you showed earlier was really nicely produced. Is that Mark Kurlianchik that
Mark
did that?
Kurlianchik. That's right.
Former Freep food writer?
former guest on The Soul of Detroit.
Yeah.
And he's a documentarian. He's involved in
Nice job
several
he did.
really cool. Oh yeah, this dude is great. I mean, he just took the raw material and said, "Here you go." And when we were talking about it, somebody on the team was like, "What do you think about the red T-shirt guy?" I said, "If you do not put the red T-shirt guy in this, we will not share this with anybody." And we didn't have this conversation with Mark, but Mark immediately realized that he was a
So he knew.
highlight. Yeah, well, because he's a visual storyteller. So he's like, when you have a genuine reaction like that from a person who's got that kind of exuberance and energy, you got to put it in the middle.
Do you think that he will shoot video of you in the Harperwood City Hall basement?
If I go back down,
Because I would like to see that.
it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
I may shoot it myself
Okay.
with a Huel Perkins selfie stick in my phone.
The Huel Perkins selfie stick.
Just to keep
the infamous
camping.
selfie stick.
You know, Huel is one of those guys where I think people think, oh, big-headed anchor, Ron Burgundy type, but Huel is the exact opposite
Oh,
of
he's
that.
great.
In fact, last time I saw him he was helping to eulogize Steve Hood, who's a longtime Detroit political consultant and all-around troublemaker, but the kind of troublemaker you like. And he does things like that all the time. But whenever there's any sort of Fox 2 gathering or any social event, he just busts out the selfie stick and starts taking pictures. And I think people have this notion, and I think all of our local anchors here are pretty down to earth. That's kind of where you think of anchors saying, like, okay, you take my picture. You know, I'm beautiful. You take my picture. And he was just like, no, I got this. And then he posts it, and he's just a genuinely
Hell yeah.
good guy. There you go. So anyway, special thanks to Mark and Ms. Taylor and Alex. While there obviously are some infrastructure problems, as we saw in Southwest Detroit, there are also some good things happening in Detroit. Alex also chimes in, says, I agree with you about college sports. The semi-pro pay thing makes the whole thing so perverted. Athletes are mercenaries. We all know the classroom aspect for most of the big-time recruits is fake. Used to love going to MSU hoops, hockey, and football games. Lost my appetite for all of it after the sexual assaults covered up years before Nassar, then Nassar scandal, and now this student-athlete pay. I have no issues with the kids getting paid. Just think they should go pro and not pretend to be students on a campus.
They can't, though.
Amen.
They can't
Alex.
they can't go pro. Basketball, they got to wait a year. Football, they got to wait 3 years.
Okay, we can change that rule. We don't have to destroy
They've
college
tried.
sports.
They've tried it. Really? I mean, the first 2 weeks of college football, do you think it was any different because of the NIL?
Why do we say the students are mercenaries when the schools are out trying to lure them there?
Yeah, and keeping all the money.
Maybe lure is not the best word, but trying to recruit them there.
Well, because the kids are now chasing $1. It's okay for craven adults to be scroungy bastards, but I don't want to turn the kids into that. Not quite yet, right?
So you feel like the first 2 weeks was totally different with NIL? Is college football ruined for you now?
I have to tell you, I haven't spent as much time looking at college sports since January of 2021.
Yeah, tell us more about your campaign. We haven't heard much about it.
Sean, I'm glad you asked. We're trying to bring honest change to Detroit politics. We have a message.
Is that your phrase?
We have a message.
Is that
of
to make America great again? It's honest change.
Opportunity, safety, and accountability.
So it's the same thing as make America great again, right? Honest change. It's change.
No. When we say honest change, we mean
Yes, we can.
honest change.
Yes, we can.
I mean, isn't it the
Yes,
same
we-
thing?
yes,
Every
we can's a
politician
better.
always.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Let's hope. Yeah, that's what we're.
What was
Opie changey.
What was Clinton's first slogan in '92? What was that?
It's the economy, stupid.
That was the
Well-
that was the unofficial slogan.
Yeah.
Don't stop thinking about tomorrow.
know,
That was
no,
a song.
I
Isn't that
think
funny?
they
Good
did.
memory.
Didn't they do hope over fear? Wasn't that Clinton Gore?
I thought
No.
it was something about hope too, but maybe
Oh, because
or
he pretended to be
believe
from
or,
Hope, Arkansas.
or believe.
Oh, I still believe in a town called Hope. And I think he also said, I still believe Jennifer Fowler should have shut her mouth.
Does anybody remember Biden's slogan?
no.
Yeah, because it was terrible. Build back better. Wasn't that what it was?
Build
I like
Back
Build
Better.
Back Better.
Really? It's terrible. It's almost as bad as Be Best.
I don't remember as Hillary Clinton's.
Yeah, what was
no
hers?
one does. Nah.
So I was walking.
It's
to
my
the-
turn. I think that was her slogan.
Well, that was the unofficial one, but I was walking to the Michigan State game in Ann Arbor and saw a bunch of Hillary signs, and I think they did say something like "It's her turn,"
Are you serious?
I don't know if they were official campaign signs, but I mean, there was this notion of there was an air of inevitability, and this
That
was going to
hurt
be
her,
this
man.
was going to be history making.
You know,
But there was not.
I'm back.
There was not something you could sink your teeth into. Meanwhile, crazy ass Trump is
He connected with people.
doing "Make America Great Again," which I always thought was an insulting slogan because it presumed that America was not great to begin with. But boy, it was effective.
Yeah, but people running always are talking about making whatever the issue is.
Well,
or
that was a
whatever
dog
better.
whistle to me. That slogan was a bit of a dog whistle.
What do you mean?
For some, "Make America Great" meant going back to a certain time when America was a certain way. You know what I mean?
Oh, so it was
Well, it is-
again part of the slogan, and that bothered you. I mean, who doesn't want to make America
the
great?
Again, the again. It was the again. Yeah.
Well, and there's an important.
Like it's not always been. I mean,
No, that's exactly right. Because when people say we want Detroit to go back to the way it was,
you know what that means.
people forget that Detroit was not always good for all Detroiters,
was
particularly for people with brown eyes, for people with brown skin. That we had race riots in the 40s, we had the riot in 67, and one of the reasons why is because while the neighborhoods may have been neat as a pin, and the churches may have been packed, and the commercial corridors may have been bustling, there were certain people who couldn't live there,
Oh, redlining,
who couldn't worship there,
right.
who couldn't shop there, who couldn't get a job there. And so when I talk to people, I'm not talking about making Detroit great again. I'm talking about making Detroit great, making it great for everybody, making it the city where everybody has an opportunity. And see, Sean, you just
It was a
talked me
stump
into
speech.
this.
Became a
Yeah,
stump
thank you,
speech.
Sean. After.
No, that's fine. I was just going to.
But truly, we don't want Detroit to go back to what it was because while we may have had
No, because
fewer
it wasn't fair.
abandoned
That's
houses-
a
right,
maybe say it that way.
Sure.
there
Wasn't
were
fair
not
for
as many
everyone.
opportunities for everybody.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. Fine. So we said that in a little fewer words there. Getting back to Hillary just for 2 seconds. Do you guys remember?
Jeez, it's a tough room.
This isn't a political show, I know, but Hillary was for a brief moment fairly popular when she was the Secretary of State early on in that run of hers. Do you remember that?
When we got Bin Laden?
And then she had the BlackBerry meme on the she was on the C-130 or whatever the military plane was.
Yeah.
Surrounded by all those troops, and she had the sunglasses,
which really came back to bite her in the ass.
which at the time turned into this really wildly popular meme.
Yeah,
And her approval ratings were shot up, and then Benghazi happened, and
Yeah, that's how it
and,
works, man.
Well, you know how it is. When one side sees that the
I
other
think,
side's candidate is going to start to become popular, then the attack machine gets going, and that was
Well,
it.
the attack machine on Hillary Clinton began in 1991.
It did, but it backed off there for a brief moment when she was Secretary of State, and she was probably more popular than she'd ever been, and then boom.
I'm trying to see if I can find her
think,
campaign slogan.
I think Trey Gowdy is just concluding the 17th Benghazi
Oh,
investigation.
God.
But
It worked, though. It worked, right? I
But he
mean,
doesn't want to investigate the insurrection at the Capitol. So
I mean,
we get that.
listen to some of these slogans that I don't know. I feel are kind of weak. Forward together, fighting for us. I'm with her. Stronger together. Love Trump's hate.
I'm with her. That's what I saw in those signs in Ann Arbor. You know what else I saw in Ann Arbor? A bunch of Ghost State or Beat State towels being handed out, and of course, being left behind.
when were you in Ann Arbor?
When State
Is your
won.
What are
campaign
you talking
extended
about?
out there now?
No, this was the Michigan State game I was going.
Oh,
where,
2 years
where I
ago.
saw the Hillary Clinton signs. No, this would have been in
2016.
Oh,
This
2016.
would have been
sorry.
2016.
Yeah.
And that was one of the ones where they handed out the Beat State towels that ended up being left behind in the rain, along with the Wolverines' hopes of victory. But
No, that would have been 2015 because 2015 was the year of the trouble with the snap, right?
no, this would have been 2 years after that. It would have been.
So the Lewerke team
2016.
that came in 2017. No, because it's every other year that they go to Ann Arbor.
Great.
Right, but I don't think people had Hillary Clinton signs in their front lawn for over a year.
They wouldn't Ann Arbor.
Maybe they wouldn't. I was just gonna say that.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it might have been 2015.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because I saw a
Yeah.
couple McGovern
It was
signs.
either 15 or 17, and the reason
Yeah.
I remember 15 is because the trouble with the snap happened about a half an hour after my mother died,
Oh,
and so you don't forget something like that, right? So
I remember
I
that
forgot
because
it.
I was at the Little House, and I was talking to Drew,
Little-
and LaDuff was there,
Little House.
and that's
Wait,
Matt.
who's
Matt and Drew's party pals.
who's
in Ann Arbor.
LaDuff?
He's a guy on the network.
Oh, okay.
Guy trying to find his way. We're going to help him out with some advice. We're going to try and help him keep his audience under 100,000. We've been able to do that without much help. He's threatening to blow it for the whole network by being so successful.
Is that how big his audience is?
Pretty big.
They're big. They're big. Anyway, so Charlie was there, and Charlie and I were going to go, I think with Drew, to go sit in his seats. And LaDuff was feeling no pain. And Drew kind of stepped away from the crowd because he had to take a phone call. I think it was from Mike Novak. Oh, no, maybe it wasn't.
It wouldn't have been
it wasn't from Mike. It would have been from his wife, yes. And,
yeah. Oh, that's right.
yeah. And Drew had just found out
Man, I forgot about that. Yeah.
that was it. That was Riff was.
No, it wasn't
no,
Riff.
No, it was Riff. 105.1. Yeah, that
105.1.
105.1 was they had made an ultimatum, and Drew had basically decided,
I want to do it.
kiss my ass. Now, the Michigan fans were thinking,
that was the same week.
this is the big year. We're finally going to get those Sparties. And I was thinking I'm going to go to the big house, which was packed as hell. And I was going to be elbowed in between Drew and Charlie. And Charlie, even when he's calm, is spastic. So I thought this is going to be an elbow fest the whole time. Charlie never made it because I think of some lifestyle choices. Drew was just like, okay. And so I ended up having all this room around me as the Spartans pull out the most amazing finish in college football history.
So you were there for Trouble for the Snap.
Not involving the Stanford band. Yeah, have you seen that picture I have on social media where I'm taking a picture of me in front of the crowd and then there's a guy behind me who's flipping me off in the Michigan hat?
I don't know if I've seen that. Maybe ask Charlie to tweet
post
that
it.
out, and I probably would see it then.
Yeah, well,
He's got 100,000 people. I mean, we have about 200.
I love
But
that.
they're loyal.
I love that your life seemed to have peaked on October, 15th, 2015? Or October. Is that when it was? That would have been about that, October 15th?
I don't know. We'd have to check.
October 18th, maybe? Yeah.
It was pretty
It's
good.
all been downhill from then?
Pretty
So,
good in 17 as well.
Are we about to get financial advice or mortgage advice? Or?
Well, if you do want financial advice, all I know is that overreaction is not the
Guy
strategy.
gets his own podcast. He starts calling the shots.
Somebody needs to move the show along.
They wearing the boss pants from this morning's broadcast.
Clearly doesn't work when I try.
Didn't change into the yoga pants.
But Sean, you were asking about investing, right? You don't want to overreact.
No, you don't.
You want to have a long-term view.
Absolutely, Mark.
I got a friend for you to call. It's Luke Nowacki. He works at Pinnacle Wealth, 248-66-347-48, because he provides rational financial advice. Stocks, bonds, 401k, 529. I'm sure you don't know anything about that, so that's why you got to call Luke Nowacki. Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748. Get advice and get a strategy.
Because when you deal with Luke Nowacki and our friends at Pinnacle Wealth Management, they make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Royal Alliance Associates, Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Royal Alliance Associates, Inc.
Beautiful.
And if you're looking to have a little cheddar to sock away for that rainy day, may we suggest that you check out the Butchery in Sylvan Lake. The ButcherySL.com. Well, if you got to make money to save money, and the Butchery is hiring.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
They are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, but they are hiring because they have amazing products. They have a great shop. They have prime meats and eats. Chef Julie makes some amazing desserts. They have some great grocery items there, some fantastic craft beers at reasonable prices, and they're looking for help moving the product. So if you're looking for a great job in a great place with a fantastic atmosphere, and we've all gone there and hung out, not just bought stuff, but spent a little time there, this, to me, feels like a place that you would enjoy going to work. It's certainly a place that's fun to hang out at. And, you know, the pay is pretty good. You can make some tips. TheButcherySL.com. Give them a shout. And they could use your help, and they will help you. And then when you make all that money, you can have Luke invest it for you. And then when you retire, you can go to Spartan games with me, and we'll be cheering because we're the best and all that other stuff.
Are you going this year?
So
when is it? When is the game?
It's on October 30th.
Well, that's that's not going to work for you.
That's the Saturday
Before the election, right?
before the election. And I'm not a big birthday celebration guy, but that also happens to be my birthday, and I'm not going to
happy
be able
birthday.
to go watch my Spartans
You don't need to. It'll be in East Lansing,
jump
and they
the
don't win there.
Skunks No, it's been a while. That's unfortunately true. But no, I will not
We
be
only
going.
speak the truth here. Come on.
And that was something I was looking forward to very much. And the demands of the campaign dictate that.
What campaign? Tell us about the campaign.
Sean,
Go on.
I'm running for office. If you want to know more about my campaign, you can call the butchery at 248-682-COWS. They know about everything.
What were you going to say, Mark?
He must really want to win this seat. He's giving up one of the things he loves to do the most, which is watch the Spartans, play football.
lose
on his birthday. Lose
to
What?
Michigan
That
at
That was
Spartan
Sean.
Stadium.
I don't know where that came from. That's some craziness.
No. I mean, it's true. When's the last time State beat Michigan there?
It's been
Been a minute, hasn't
It's
it?
been 5 years, I think. Yeah.
Is it?
Hey, will you watch the game? Like, will you tape it and watch it, or you just
Oh, no,
whatever
I don't
happens?
do that.
You don't do that at all. So you won't avoid the score or anything.
No. I'll check in on it. I'll probably, when we
You won't watch it.
when
back.
we go door to door, I'll probably check my phone to see what's happening.
You're gonna ring on people's doors and then you're gonna interrupt the game that they'll be watching. And maybe you can go sit down with some of them and watch the game on TV for a few minutes.
I have been known to socialize with people on the campaign.
There you
trail,
go.
So,
See, problem solved.
in fact, you know who was canvassing with me yesterday?
Who?
Dennis from across the street.
Was he really?
Yes.
Oh, no shit.
Did you go to the Met Gala last night? Out of curiosity.
That was a total segue. Random.
I went to the Good Vibes Lounge on Harper,
Did
and
you?
I
Okay.
watched the end of that Monday Night Football game
game.
that Oakland won twice.
Did you guys see some of the photos coming out of some of the outfits and?
From what? The Met
the
Gala?
Met Gala.
You don't want to talk about sports? You'd rather talk about the Met Gala?
No, I was just
No,
curious.
not at all. The Met Gala means nothing to me.
Well, not me
Less
either,
than
but
zero.
it's hard to escape the photos that show up all over Twitter
Yeah.
and
The Met
Facebook.
Gala.
It's a big charitable thing they do in New York at the end of Fashion Week. I think
Yeah.
Vogue puts it on.
And people wear these wild,
Celebrities and
wild sort of outfits, and they
Mhm.
really push the boundaries. And I saw a tweet today that somebody said it was the Comic-Con for people that if you look at the wrong way, they'll fire you. I thought that was.
Oh, that's not bad.
I thought that was not bad.
And is it
Not bad.
just rich people or is it celebrities
It's all
too?
celebrities and
Yeah.
influencers and people you probably don't want to hang out with.
Okay. Wow.
You watch the people and go, yeah, I don't like that person. I don't really care for that person. That person does nothing for me.
Yeah,
It's not really my scene.
At Comic-Con, I think they're a little nicer. If you like the- if you
I'd
like
much
that
rather
kind
go to a Comic-Con.
Absolutely.
Than
Is
a
that the-
snooty Met Gala.
Kind of place where
The furries. The furries would
where
be.
The
J-Lo
furries.
would wear that green dress.
She was there.
Or,
Yeah, she was there.
Or Lady Gaga would have the meat dress
Yes.
on.
Yes.
I mean, those were award shows, but yeah, that's the
Yeah,
kind
but
of
it's
crap
the
they
same
do.
sort of thing. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, that's why I don't watch it. Sorry. No,
I was just curious if you were there.
No. I was
you
knocking.
jetted off.
I was
jetted
knocking on
back.
doors on Beaconsfield and Somerset and Lake
Okay.
Point with Dennis.
How many more doors do you have to knock on?
Well, I
by
mean,
the way?
because you were in Harper Woods, so I thought, well,
Do you really?
Thousands more doors.
How many people are in your district?
About 100,000.
Really? I didn't know it was that big.
Oh yeah. Well, you got about 700,000 people in the city of Detroit, 7 districts, so it's about 100,000. So I have this, and
and you're
Jim,
mowing the lawns of everybody.
Pretty much.
one at a time. Jim Schaefer knows that I have this propensity when we're out and about to pick up change when I see it. And
Sure.
Anybody who's knocked doors with me,
Even
will
if it's tails on a penny.
Oh yeah, that's still free money.
Damn.
What's unlucky about free money?
That's
So
bad karma.
So we are walking along, and I'm spotting change here and there, and picking it up. And Dennis
How do
apparently
you pick it up, by the way?
with my fingers.
Fingers? You don't use any kind of a stick, or
No.
What about your cheeks?
No, that's just for jacks. But so we come to this one house, and we got 2 houses because Dennis is kind of low tech. We do this on our phones. He's got a flip phone, so he can't do it. So we're kind of splitting up the houses, and we come to these 2 houses. Like, I'll get this one, and I'll get that. I say, oh, you know what? No, Dennis, you get that one, and I'll get this one. And I go and talk to the folks who live in this house. Dennis goes up to the other house. Nobody answers. And he comes back and he looks like the cat that ate the canary. And I'm like, what's going on? And I picked up a penny in this driveway. And he said, while you're scrounging for change, look what I found. And he holds up a crisp $10 bill.
Hey.
Nice.
And I thought since I told him to go to that house that maybe
No.
you
Because
would share that.
finders, keepers, losers, weepers.
No, that's nice. I just think I had a little bit of an epiphany, though. How long, Mark, has Charlie LaDuff been doing the podcast here on this network?
I think I'm like 153 episodes.
So 3 years.
Yeah, about. Mm-hmm.
So a little longer than this show.
Yeah,
Well,
we're-
we had quite the hiatus, so
we're
yeah.
118 episodes, more than 2.1 million.
But did he start first?
Yes, he did.
I believe
he
so,
was the
yeah.
second show.
I've always wondered why Mike started it, and now I know.
No, I was supposed to be the second show, but then Fox took so long to approve it that we were months and months behind, and we went through this very meticulous approval process because Drew's like, "What's the holdup?" I said,
Yeah.
Fox moves slow. Just be patient. If we're going to be able to do this, we have to do it the right way and check all the boxes. And Drew's like, "What's taking so long?" And I said, "We got to go through the process
So did he?
because we don't want to leave anything to
Did he
chance."
two-time
And
you?
so,
Is that what Drew did?
no. So in fact, he wanted to add more shows. In fact, no. Eli was the second show.
I think Eli was, yeah.
We were supposed to be. LaDuff is the third show. We were supposed to be the second show. Eli ended up being the second show. We were going to be the third show. Then LaDuff was the third show.
All because of Fox.
All because of Fox, and I was so careful to do it the right way so that someone wouldn't pull the rug out from under me later, only to have
The rug pulled out from under you.
somebody pull the rug out from under me later. But thanks for bringing all that up, Sean. I really appreciate that.
No, I was just curious about your motivation of why you wanted to do this show. You've never really talked about that. We know why you want to run for city council.
To spend more time.
Why
together.
honest change or something like that? What's the slogan
I
for why you wanted
think
to do
our
this
slogan
podcast?
is picking up loose change while Dennis picks up folding money. It's tough to fit on a bumper sticker, but to entertain and
I think he likes the format.
No,
Do you like the format?
The whole idea was to bring people behind the scenes of
Yeah.
stories and journalism and to tell people things that they wouldn't have seen. I mean, it's
But then you left journalism. So do you
stories long and short, well told.
Do you like the format? As Mark asked.
Sure.
It suits you.
You're really selling it.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I mean, we've been doing this for.
I know, and we've
for
never
almost-
really put you on the couch. So Mark and I.
Actually, I think we've almost been doing this for 3 years. When you count the hiatus,
Yeah.
I think it
Don't
has
have-
been
they
3
both
years, maybe
started-
in August.
They both started around the same time.
Yeah,
but
we
you
do,
had-
oh,
you
look
had
at the
pause.
size of that fly. We don't have.
Are you ADHD?
Yeah,
No, just flew
would
into.
somebody wash
right-
off
right
this
there.
pacifier?
What's going on, man?
Did somebody drop the
on the
rattle?
camera? No, we've never put you on the couch really before, Mark and I, and we don't have a guest today. And you could tell us more about the campaign, but we've done that for months and months. So, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, since you asked, Sean, you can follow the campaign on social media. Twitter handle ML4 Detroit. There's also a volunteer and a donate button if you check out that website. Of course, you can also see Ms. Taylor's video there and lots of other amazing stories there, including some of my work at Fox 2 about the future of
I
Detroit.
think that's all we're going to get out of them.
I think so.
Oh man, the geeks have inherited
Wait,
the
there's
earth.
more!
There was one more read.
No, there's more, but we can get to it later. That's all right.
Pat sympathizes.
Yes, because last week's show
What
was
now?
Last week's show was all about Sean, and so Pat
It
wrote
was?
in and said, "Sean, I feel your pain, brother. At the risk of going all ML here and patting myself on the back, how is it always? Okay, never mind. I take care of my elderly mother's lawn in Livonia. I had to purchase this spring. I had to pause this spring before the first cut. The lawn was covered in branches and sticks that our maple trees had shed during the fall and winter. I spent about 90 minutes picking them up before cutting the grass. I'm 48, in relatively good shape. So far, I've read nothing that would support that statement. But he says, the pain in my hamstrings 2 days later is still difficult to explain. It felt like someone had beaten them with a baseball bat. I don't think I walked normal for a week." Sounds like he was caught in a stall with Bad Santa. "I guess it's from picking up sticks improperly for a person my age. Maybe one of her umpteen grandkids will take over for me someday. Personal
right.
gripe. Ha! I just want to let you know that you're not alone. Getting old sucks." Well, you know what,
That's
Pat?
uplifting. Thank you.
You know what, Pat? I campaigned all day on Sunday. Then we launched the Bulldogs' 20th hockey season. I made all my shifts, popped the water bottle, and then made it to the bar. So don't be giving me that 48-year-old crap. I'm 53, son.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, but he was trying to commiserate.
Yeah,
with
he
Sean.
was.
Sean, yeah,
Not-
it was some
not talk
broken down
Not
wretch.
talk about how great you are and how healthy you
But
are.
look how he made that pivot. Can we get to the geek of the week now? I mean, fine. Clearly, it's just going to be another.
Well,
pivot
right
to that.
after we hear from Estelle and Herb.
Oh,
Herb. Sorry, I'm thinking
we'll
about.
get through this one a little more
Peaches and
quickly.
Herb?
Well, after we heard about stash
Reunited.
provisioning, I got Herb on
It
the
feels
brain.
so
but
good.
Estelle and Herb, one of the great acts of the '70s. Dear ML and Mark, no mention of Sean here. Hope you all had a relaxing weekend. Has ML noticed an uptick
Was
in
that an
homes for
edit?
sale in District 4 EEV since the back-to-back flooding and power outages? I have a fed-up colleague who's selling and moving down south. She and husband are working from home until retirement, but unsure if that's a broader theme of frustrated residents who have had enough of the headaches and are getting out. No, I have not seen people abandoning ship because of the flooding. I have seen a lot of people moving in to these areas because housing prices in Detroit are going through the roof. And some of the flooded areas, the Jefferson Chalmers neighborhood in particular, which is in kind of a low-lying area, people are moving into that neighborhood like crazy. Housing prices are going through the roof because people want to live close to the water.
I hope the disclosures are up to date.
Yeah.
All of our parkland, all of our southern border in District 4 is parkland.
That's great. Cue it up, Mark.
It's almost all waterfront. Anyways, Estelle and Herb are wondering if
Wait, there's more?
if Duggan or his people have contacted me about an interview for an endorsement. If yes, how was brunch at the Manugian? Keep them honest and transparent, ML. So in the interest of honesty,
Honest change. That's great. That's great.
in the interest of honesty and transparency, I have not been contacted.
Is that how
for
that
an
would work
interview or an
anyway?
endorsement? I don't know. I'm new to this whole thing. I'm running my own campaign. I didn't ask anybody for permission. I ain't asking for anybody to tell me what I can do and what I can't do. We're doing our own thing. So the answer is no.
So basically,
Don't ask for permission.
That was nice, Mark.
It's D.L. Roth, my
You have something else to queue up over there, though?
I don't know if he's ready for it.
Well, before we get to that, I want to tell.
What do you want to tell me about?
The Cadger Cafe is a great place to host private events, family gatherings, holiday parties, graduation parties, birthday parties,
Do it
company
with some
parties.
enthusiasm.
Rehearsal dinners, bachelor and batch. I'm trying to build up. This is called a crescendo. Bachelor and bachelorette parties, etc. Any type of party, maybe even a slumber parties, divorce parties, funeral luncheons. Maybe you could just talk about all of the above. I just did. But I have to tell you, you can't do any of these parties on Saturday because the Cadger is closed for a private event, a wedding reception, yet another party, a nuptial, if you will. If you want to book the Cadger Cafe for your party, email info@cadgercafe.com. You can schedule an event. To find out more, you can go to the website, cadgercafe.com. You can book the feather bowling lanes. There's almost no place else in the world where you can do some feather bowling except at the Cadger Cafe, but it's good to call ahead and book those lanes. They're very reasonably priced. It's an experience you will never forget. And we also, on behalf of the Cadger Cafe, want to wish Chef Bobby a happy birthday. He was a big hero on an event recently at the Cadger. And, of course, Inez Knight, our centenarian, who we discussed on last week's. I know, it sounds so, but she's not a Roman guard, not at all. She's a centenarian. Ms. Knight celebrated her 100th birthday party at Chef Bobby's place in St. Clair Shores. And I will tell you, the food, as usual, was great. I do have a bone to pick with Chef Bobby, though. This dude was on Fox 2 more often than I was, and I actually was paid to be on Fox 2. And I always wondered if somebody was going to come up to me and say, "You're doing a great job, but, Chef Bobby's on the air."
The investigating.
Yeah, he's on the air every day.
Let him do it.
And you only show up once every couple of weeks and maybe once a month or something like that. But that's the way it goes. So, Chef Bobby, happy birthday. You are not our Geek of the Week.
I do want to point out, though, that it's a great time to refinance.
Oh, yes.
Interest rates are really low.
There may be
Back
no
to
better
record
time.
I don't think there is a better time starting right now. I mean, you might as well do it sooner than later, and you might as well do it with Hall Financial. Their loans don't require an appraisal. They can save you up to $750. You can get pre-approved the same day with Hall Financial's unique process and advanced technology. That's why they have over 6,000 five-star reviews on their site. Before you go out shopping for your new home, you need to call Hall Financial. Get your financing in place. Go to mlsolodetroit.com, that website. Click on the link to get started, or you can simply call them 248-308-5000. Make sure to tell them that ML sent you, and their NMLS number is 1467435. Are you finally ready?
I've been waiting for Geek of the Week.
Oh man, the geeks have inherited
But first,
your...
Did I do that?
What a dork.
him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
I'm not going to make Pat Geek of the Week, but I'm just going to suggest a little stretching, my man. Just,
Stop piling on Pat.
downward facing dog, just
Do you stretch before you do yard work? I bet you do. You probably,
I
does.
stretch every day.
Of course you do.
It's the only way I can stay limber. So this week's Geek of the Week,
Nice sigh.
this guy is a
Kind of like when I read
I-
LaDuff trying to say the FBI cooked up the Whitner kidnapping plot. But go ahead.
It's one of those.
That makes me sigh.
and it contradicts almost all evidence to the contrary.
I know, but go ahead.
Okay, so Chris Webber, on the eve of being inducted in the Basketball Hall of Fame, instead showed
No, he's the
again
worst.
why he should be inducted into the Hall of Shame, spouting more self-serving lies and revisionist history. He said Wolverine AD Ward Manuel apologized to him, not him exactly, but to 18-year-old Chris Webber. But don't bother trying to make sense of this. Even Fab Five whisperer Mitch Albom couldn't decipher it. And shortly thereafter, Manuel called a timeout and said it never happened. So, C-Web, here's one record that won't be erased. You are our national champion, Geek of the Week. Finally, a champion. And also,
Wait, no, it was so nice and tidy, but you're.
I know. Why you should have ended it there.
Yeah.
no, because whenever I think of Chris Webber, I think, how could you blow it with Tyra Banks? Tyra Banks may be the most amazing woman.
How much time have you spent with
I've ever
Tyra
met.
Banks? Maybe she's not that much fun to hang out with.
Since you ask, sir, I spent about an hour or so with her at a Kmart in suburban Chicago.
What?
In the 1990s.
What were you waiting on her? What was she buying from you?
She was unveiling some new product line, and there was a stop at Kmart. And
Well, of course she's going to be nice if she's unveiling a product line.
she was very nice, and I think she's been very and all her messages about body image and feeling comfortable with
That's
who
wonderful.
you are. That's
great.
huge.
Sure.
That is massive.
I have no problem with that.
This is someone who actually cares about other people, which may be why things didn't work out so much with Chris Webber. But she was so cool, and the only reason I did that story, because my job was to write A1 stories for the Sunday paper, was I had to come up with some justification to write a story about her going so I could just be in the presence of
So
Tyra
you have
Banks.
a thing. So you're a stalker,
No,
basically.
I was.
You remember the little Penny Hardaway commercials that
Yeah,
Chris
Little
Walk
Penny.
voiced, and
Yeah.
he said, "Hey, Tyra, you left my toothbrush at your house,
Yeah.
or you left your toothbrush at my house."
Yeah.
Remember that? I always think of Tyra Banks. That commercial when I hear that. But yeah, no, thank you for. Yeah, you're a fan. You're a big fan. That's great.
So I did get to talk to her, and she was very,
She was very nice.
And then I bought a
Did you ask her
purple
out? Why
tie
don't you
for
ask her out?
$3 there that I still wear to this day.
Really?
And every time I put it on, I
Think of
just
Tyra?
think
Your time with Tyra?
I just
Your tire
think
tie?
what could have been.
I know. I feel about the way about Sigourney Weaver.
It's never going to happen. Wait, you met Sigourney Weaver?
No, I
You
didn't.
hung out with her at
No,
a Kmart?
Sean was an
Like
alien
to,
she
though.
tried to kill.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night if you've got the time.
So I'd love to read another sponsor message here, but we don't have one. If you would like to sponsor the show, please send us an email, mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com. We'd love to have your support. Our advertising rates are eminently reasonable, and we are ready to deal. But first, we are going to hear from a band that you have heard of, and you've heard their music, but you just didn't realize it. The band is Shriekback.
Never heard of them.
Their big hit was Nemesis, and I guarantee you would recognize it. But they became sort of a favorite of Michael Mann, partly for atmospheric tunes like The Big Hush, which we're listening to now. And so he featured them in Manhunter, Miami Vice, and some other teleplays. But just sort of sit back, let the music wash over you, and absorb a little Shriekback. The Big Hush.
Is there a fire in the sky? Is there
This is a breathless silence, a moment out of time. I see your face in the shadows, the telltale signs are in your eyes. More than I can hold in my hand, running through the gaps like water, aching with a passion inside. Deep as the river of desire, the ashes and the fire turn in this night inside, and the light from you. Is there a flame in the dark? Is there a bright hot star? These creatures look the same now. We freeze wherever we are. We wake alone in the blackness. We sleep wherever we fall. One dream all around us. This big hush infects us all. Holding up an animal fear, soaking up the waves underwater, tuned to music no one can hear. Forever in this half-light of desire, the ashes and the fire turning this night inside, and the light from you. Oh, desire, the ashes and the fire turning this night inside, and the light from you. Like water, aching with a passion inside, deep as a river of desire. The ashes and the fire turning this night inside. Oh, desire, the ashes and the fire turning this night inside, turning this night inside, turning this night inside, and the light from you.
I have a question for you, Mark.
Yes,
Not
please.
you, Mike. You've talked plenty. Pot you up. Where's that come from? The phrase.
I don't know, but
Stash provisioning.
I believe because
Oh.
you know the old boards would have like big circular things. This is my guess, so I don't know. Not faders, but they had pot. They were called pots.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that's what
Okay.
it's from. I don't know.
Wow, I wondered how we're.
Or
gonna-
no, it's also the Pontel. There's a big long name for it. Pontel. Ah, I don't know. It goes. I don't know. It's an old saying.
Like
I don't know why I
Harbaugh
had-
used the phrase. Sorry, that he was talking about the running game the other day with Michigan. And he said it warmed the cockles in his
Cockles.
heart.
The cockles.
And I was trying to remember where that phrase was from. And cockles is rooted in Latin, which could mean ventricles. So the ventricles of the heart. So anyway, but yeah, it warmed the cockles of his heart.
Wow, Cyrus, take us out.
Yeah.
Okay. Golly, I was wondering how we're going to cover the rest of that song, and now I'm wishing I just.
I'm
heard-
surprised it's still not going on.
Yeah, no,
rest
we
of that song.
we had a nice nap, and that was great. So I don't know that you need to say much more about it.
So that was This Big Hush by Shriekback, and if you watched, so a lot of people really like Silence of the Lambs, and Sir Anthony Hopkins, he's so great as Hannibal. No. The best Hannibal Lecter was Brian Cox in Michael Mann's Manhunter, which was the first adaptation of The Red Dragon, with Will Peterson.
Who was fabulous in To Live and Die in L.A.
In everything he's done, he's been outstanding, just outstanding. And that scene is where the Tooth Fairy, Frances Dollarhide, is first getting intimate with the blind woman, who you think may soften him just before the FBI agent figures out who the Tooth Fairy is and kicks in the door, which is another outstanding. That's when, if you saw this movie, you will remember when Inagata DeVita starts
Yes.
playing, and he comes running up and jumps through the front door, and then he tackles this big galoot, who actually is a very sensitive giant, who is a very famous playwright.
He was pretty creepy in that
Yeah,
movie.
he was pretty well, especially when he had the stockings over his head to transform himself into the.
Speaking of rock music and what would you call it, Manhunter, the hit or Michael Mann style, the way that music was used. Have you guys seen the new trailer from Matrix Resurrection where they use White Rabbit from Jefferson Airplane?
Is it a cover of White Rabbit or is it the actual?
It's White
version?
Rabbit.
No, you know what? I hate the Matrix, so say that for another.
I like the first one. I didn't.
I love the first one, but the new trailer for the new one is with the
feel
White
like
Rabbit
White
over
Rabbit-
all of that. It's really clever.
White Rabbit's been used a lot because of the drug references.
Is this a fourth Matrix movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it the Wachowski brothers?
Yes.
Sisters.
Sister. Yeah.
I don't. They,
Yes.
them.
By the way, it's a potentometer. It's a dial that controls
cool.
voltages. So it goes back to the old dials.
Well, I know Mike didn't want to learn
Sorry.
that because he figures he doesn't need to learn anything if he doesn't already know it.
It's one of my great faults when somebody asks a question like that. I have to dig into it till I get.
No, it's a great.
it's a terrible
great,
fault.
That's a great trait.
It's a burden.
That really felt
Oh,
like.
I love that.
It's a burden.
Material.
No, if Mike doesn't know something, he just wants to move on to talk about another part of
That's
himself.
what he should do. It's far more interesting for the audience.
Okay. Well,
So if you
I'm trying to save him emails.
if you want to check out the Manhunter soundtrack, you will find Evaporation, another Shriekback tune that's playing when FBI agent Will Graham, portrayed by William Peterson, is surveying the first murder scene. And there's a couple other scenes where this music is used. And there's a
You're talking Manhunter the movie or the Netflix show?
No.
the movie.
the movie.
Although the
Manhunter.
What year
Netflix
did that
show
come
is
out?
in 86.
1980,
Of course it did.
Late 80s. So
I saw it in the theater. I remember. I saw it
What
a
a
couple of years ago
spectacular
with
movie.
Sam.
But I just
And
feel
it
you say
holds,
Manhunter
holds
now.
up pretty well.
When you say
Absolutely.
Manhunter now, my first thought was the Netflix,
Which is also really
it's a
good.
phenomenal series.
It's fabulous. And that guy in that show, what's his name?
The
Who's-
main actor guy,
yeah, not the
murderer?
younger one, the old. No.
Yeah, the
One of the
agent.
detectives.
Yeah,
With the crew cut. What?
I know. I'm drawing a blank.
He's
I'll have to
been a
look it
role
up.
player in a lot, or a character actor. Sorry, for
this
a
is
long
fascinating.
time. He's not
no
in
one.
enough movies either. He's
He's
great.
not, you should be his agent.
He's great.
He's not
Great
in
screen
enough
presence.
movies.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Jonathan,
Shriekback.
is it not Jonathan Groff? No.
No.
So Shriekback, you may have heard their song Nemesis, which is a much
Wait, we're still talking about Shriekback.
much heavier driving song, and they were a more atmospheric band in many ways, which made them a perfect music bed for a lot of the very moody films and TV shows by Michael Mann, like Miami Vice, like Manhunter. And they have kind of a the quality
Heat,
mixed with
which was my favorite of his.
with Roxy music and with the touch of the church and almost sort of like Leonard Cohen light.
Did you like the Tom Cruise one?
Which one?
With Jamie Foxx, the Michael Mann movie, where
Oh,
Tom
yeah.
Cruise was a hitman.
Yeah,
Collateral. Yeah,
That
I
was
like that
Michael
movie
Mann.
a lot.
That was Michael Mann.
I thought it was okay. It was pretty preposterous.
It's too recent for you. Of course, it's most movies are preposterous.
But
I
Heat,
just think
Heat was probably his
It's
high
great.
watermark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
No, would you not like that? Was that too recent too?
No, it was all right. It was all right.
Oh, that was one of the great movies of the last 30 years. That and L.A. Confidential.
L.A. Confidential was outstanding.
Oh, there's not a.
Curtis Hanson, who also did 8 Mile,
He did.
and Eminem is now going to be
does.
doing the White Boy Rick story.
I saw that. Yeah, it's
So-
getting it back
Well,
to Detroit. There you
he's
go.
Playing White Boy Rick in one episode of a series.
Okay.
It's a pretty small role.
By the way, clickbait, yes or no? Tell our people, Mark.
I haven't seen it yet.
What?
Everybody keeps telling me to watch it. I've not seen it yet. You want to know why I can't get myself to watch it?
Why? Because everybody's telling you to watch it?
Adrian Grenier. I don't like.
Who's the worst part of The Devil Wears Prada?
I don't like what.
Right?
I've never seen that movie, but he
Never
was an
saw The
Entourage.
Devil Wears Prada?
He was an Entourage.
I know he was,
and
but I'm just saying. Devil
hated
Wears
his
Prada.
character.
Meryl Streep is fabulous. It's where we meet Emily Blunt for the first time for the American audience. And Adrian Grenier's in it.
I can't stand him.
Oh, he's thin.
I
Thin,
can't.
thin,
I
thin.
just don't like him. And was it good though? You like it? You recommend it? Everybody keeps telling me to watch it.
What, Devil Wears Prada?
Clickbait.
Oh, I have not seen it. I'm asking
Oh.
you. You're the one that keeps us up on all this matter.
I know. I'll watch it.
You're
I'll
our
have a-
cultural attaché.
I'll have a report next week for you.
Okay.
Shriekback.
Oh,
we're still talking about that band. Are they still? Is that song still playing?
English New Wave.
yeah, it probably is.
Do they have a song that's even longer than that one?
So let
Because
me
that would be nice with an even longer post wrap up from Mr. Mike Elric.
let me share with you something obscure but obscene fact about Shriekback.
Oh, please,
Cyrus,
please.
take us out. Is that what? Is that?
How
is that
many?
what's going
I already tried that. Cyrus is like, no, you're going to have to suffer a little longer.
Can you dig that?
You just haven't earned it yet, baby, to work the Smiths in to room 7609.
God.
So how well are you? How familiar are you with the Shriekback
None.
catalog?
None. Come on.
I've never
Okay.
even heard of.
Okay.
I've heard
well,
that.
so-
I've heard all this music because of the movies.
So
though.
this is one of the things that cracks me up, particularly about bands from the 80s.
Yeah, that's funny.
Bands where you don't know any of their music, they still have multiple greatest hits albums. So Shriekback has The Infinite, the best of Shriekback, followed up by Evolution, best of Shriekback, Volume 2. How did they get Volume 1 out? Natural History, the very best of Shriekback, and then Priests and Cannibal, the best of Shriekback.
No, but here's the thing, Mike. Right?
And of course, there's the Y Records year for people who couldn't get enough of Shriekback. And then Aberrations 81 to 84, another compilation capturing the magic
Yeah,
of
that's a-
Shriekback.
They must be huge in another country.
That's a great story, but
Little
to
putt.
their credit, and you may not know their name or the names of their songs, but you know the music when you hear it, especially if you watch, because it's attached to some pretty iconic movies.
It's very sensual, and that way I
Well,
think
I wouldn't
it's
say
like
sensual so much, but maybe that's what you like making love to. I prefer Barry
Making
White.
love. What? You make
well,
love to Barry
so
White?
you like making love to Barry White?
No,
Okay.
I don't. I'm just saying, if you're gonna move that way.
Can't get enough of your love, babe. That's all I want to say to you. I always had you pegged as more of an Al Green guy.
I love Al Green. Yeah, for sure.
So there was this band called Shriekback.
Oh no!
And
Still on
they are
Shriekback?
guests in room
Stop,
7609.
Please.
Now you're just
where
doing it on
where we
purpose.
take
Yeah,
where
he
we
is.
take
He's torturing us. He knows I
obscure
have to
new wave
leave.
bands.
He knows Drew wants to get down here. He knows Mark needs to go to the restroom,
and we bring them the acclaim that so
wash his hands.
sadly eluded them in their day, or we take new wave bands that you know so well and try and play a
Well,
hit.
the song's still playing.
Never quite made it. This may be a good time for Buzz Me Mellow.
Because our people don't know what this is.
Buzz Me Cool.
They don't even know anything about Room 7609. Explain to them again.
Mellow.
Buzz Me Mellow. Is this Evaporation by Shriekback?
I don't know. It's the same song. It's just still playing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay.
And of course, that's where we meet Emily Blunt.
Okay. So
Only American.
I just don't remember meeting her, but she seems like she was charming.
you didn't see that
No,
show movie either, did you?
No Buzz Me Cool. We can't.
Oh, I have that. Jeez. I was waiting for the Shriekback segment of the show to end.
It was actually a very compact portion of the show. It got dragged out by
Well, thank God we kept coming back.
I thought we were at an hour ago.
troublemakers. You know, I forgot to mention one of our most important sponsor groups, and that is you, our listeners. You can donate at mlsoulofdetroit.com. That's exactly what Todd Davis did.
Thank you, Todd.
Todd, T-O-D, is the father of Tad, T-A-D.
Wow, even better.
In fact, he sent us a generous donation, said, Tad's dad and loyal longtime listener. Great show. So thank you very much.
Everybody, be quiet! Todd's about to masturbate!
I'm not sure Tad needed to hear that, but Tad is the producer of the Carlos and Sean Insomnia Cure Hour that you can find at free.com. We also want to thank...
Oh, is that her? Somebody called it the depression.
Sean's doing his own show over there.
Was it Emily Blunt Hour?
No, because I thought we were done.
He's still in the Met Gala. He's looking at pictures still.
I thought we were done.
Oh, my goodness.
No, it looks like a death walking up the steps. It's all black with a train, a long train in the back that's all black.
I found none of that fascinating.
Can we please wrap this up?
Not before Christopher
Thank you, Todd.
sends thank you and a donation. He says, this donation is a value for value payment for the value I found here in your podcast. Great show, guys. Sean, thank you for your tribute to my friend Greg Mudge. He was truly a shining light. And ML, thank you for having my friend August Gitschlag on the show to promote his good works. So doing good does good and has done good for us. And if you want to do good, you can make that donation at mlsoulofdetroit.com. We would appreciate if you would subscribe, share, rate, and love the show. Sean?
I love you both.
What are you up to?
I love you both. I'm trying to write
football. 227 soaking
football.
wet. Oh.
No, a little bit more than that, but football.
Really?
Yeah.
Too many of those Angelo sandwiches.
I don't eat those all that often.
Okay, football. You're writing about football?
Yeah, so that's what I'm up to. I love you both. It's been fun. What's next?
You got anything else on the Met Gala you want to talk about?
No. I was just trying to keep it from being all about the campaign.
Up next, the Devil wears a gray
Wait,
T-shirt
how
with the
about
Soul
this?
of Detroit logo on the front.
You're not going to be in studio next week, so real quickly, oh my God, I'm afraid to ask, but where are you going to be?
Seeking justice.
Okay, that's good.
In all corners of our great state.
That reminds me of an interview I heard with Tiffany Haddish, the great comic. Earlier this morning, actually, somebody said, "What are you up to?" And she said, "Seeking success and prosperity." So it's a similar answer.
It's deep.
That's exactly what I would expect from Tiffany. She is a strong soul.
Yeah.
So I will be joining the show remotely from a
No reason for that pause. Just keep talking.
Location to be announced. So tune in next week to find out where I'm at. But rest assured, I will not leave this ship in the hands of fools.
You've already done that before.
Yeah, you have, and the show was, okay, actually. Survived.
It did pretty well. So we appreciate you. Sean will be writing about football. If you want to know where I'm going, you can check us out online at ml4detroit.com. Or if you want to follow this show, go to Facebook, ML, no periods, Elric, where you can watch the live broadcast every week. Of course, you can get the full audio download wherever you get your ear candy. And if you'd like to follow us on Twitter, I am at Elric. You will get notices about the show, other things we're up to. And please, 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 I've got to pick up some followers because that Drew Lane fellow is...
he's not on your tail.
Yeah, he's trying to make a go of it. And I figured being a real successful radio guy would be enough for him, but now he wants to crush my little Twitter domination dreams. So thanks, Drew. Really appreciate it. But I'm still going to plug your show because I know you could probably use the help of an influential franchise like the Soul of Detroit. That would be the Drew and Mike podcast. You can catch it here on the Red Shovel Network. If you didn't get enough of Mark, you will find him there. Sean won't be there, so it's a safe place. And then there's the Charlie LaDuff's No BS News Hour, all here on the Red Shovel Network. And they will be here shortly after our friend Cyrus arrives to take us. Cyrus takes us.
Can you dig that?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Well, boss, that was a clever bit of deduction.
It was quite a blunder for so clever a man as
Sean Windsor.
Why did he make the mistake of coming to us?
There are many holes in the plans of the criminal mind. He must have forgotten about the 1928 letters, or he would have destroyed them.
And I thought he was a dope, too. But he was half right.
Now, that brings me to an unpleasant subject.
What's that?
You were talking about resigning. Are you still in that frame of mind?
Resigning? When did I say anything like that?
Then you're going to be content with conditions as they are?
Why, of course. What are you saying?
And you don't mind it a bit as long as this dreadful weather continues?
Well, not at all. Don't mind what?
Going in and out of the house through the coal chute.